8:37 in the evening of Saturday, July 11th, 2015. El Chapo Guzmán is lying down watching TV. 8:46 p.m. A construction noise begins to sound in the cell. Despite the clear sound, no one is alerted at the prison monitoring center. What appears to be a hammering sounds again 4 more times. At around 8:50 a.m., the escape plan begins, and Chapo gets up to investigate how everything is progressing. This is when we can start to hear voices coming from the hole. El Chapo gets ready to leave through the tunnel. Finally, at 8:52 p.m., he enters the tunnel, and at the monitoring center, no one seems concerned about what we just saw or heard. But what happened next with El Chapo? Before continuing, don't forget to like and subscribe for more money in life. As you can see, this was the cell from which he escaped. Using this tunnel, they dug from the outside, in the only blind spot in the cell chamber. This was a 2-level hole, so there were 2 descents. Here is where El Chapo began his escape plan. The first part of the descent where we could see a rest stop. It then had to go through a second hole, which was approximately 30 centimeters wide at its narrowest part, to finally reach what is the second descent before arriving at the tunnel. As we can see, this unstable ladder was the one Chapo used to descend this stretch of the route. Finally, in the tunnel, we can see that no external materials were used for the construction of the tunnel, or to avoid its collapse, but the same material from the subsoil was used. It is also believed that small pavement breakers were used to avoid generating too many vibrations that could alert the guards. Here we can see some of the traps that were placed in the tunnel. In case they felt cornered, they would drop these weights to obstruct the passage and not allow the guards to follow the path. And further along the route, we can also see these accesses with stairs that seem to follow the path, but in reality, it is only a distraction to waste the guards' time. It is also known that El Chapo used a modified motorcycle to make the entire journey in the shortest time possible. And finally, at the end of the tunnel, the ascent begins to reach the house used for the escape. It's a 2-level ascent that leads to one of the few houses outside the prison that served as the logistics center for the tunnel excavation. Finally, after the entire tunnel journey, this was what awaited El Chapo, a large operations warehouse disguised as a humble house in the surroundings of the maximum security prison, El Altiplano. In the background, we can clearly see the prison from which El Chapo escaped, and we understand why they strategically chose this house to carry out the excavation that would allow this drug trafficker to escape from this prison. It was not until 9:17 p.m. that federal police monitors noticed something on the cameras, and this was 25 minutes after the escape. It is estimated that Chapo took about 15 minutes going through and coming out of the tunnel, and it was not until 9:29, 40 minutes after the disappearance of Chapo, that the guards entered to inspect the cell. 2 of them entered the hole in the tunnel, while the other one really thought he was going to find Chapo under the bed. What great faith my friend has. It was not until 3 hours after the escape that the maximum alert was activated, which started the search for Chapo outside the prison. And remember, if you'd like to support the channel and help keep it going, since it's not monetized on YouTube, you can tip me through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. Any amount makes a difference, and your support truly means a lot.